friends, I'm over here in the beautiful city of Porto. This is the final leg of my visit to Portugal, and I'm going to be spending a few days over here. I'm here today at this beautiful hotel property of the Mercan Group in Porto. I'm here with Mr. Jordi Vilanova, who is heading the Mercan Group in Portugal, and he has been instrumental in the success of the Mercan Group in Portugal. They have developed a lot of properties, they have a lot of other plans. So I will now, ask a few questions to Jordi. Good morning, Jordi.
Good morning. Thank you, Paresh, and thank you for coming to visit us. It's our pleasure to host you here in our beautiful property, our first hotel, 5-star hotel that we built in 2019 and 20.
Thank you, Jordi, for hosting me and a wonderful breakfast. And the hotel is really beautiful. I really like the location. It's very conveniently located, right in the center. You have all the landmarks of Porto City, the cathedral, the South Metro station, the river, everything within walking distance from this location. I think this is one of the most popular tourist locations in Portugal, right? And let's Porto.
That's correct. When we came in 2015, we were the first ones to invest into this location, which has now turned out to be the real center of Porto.
Wonderful. So friends, you can see this hotel property is already developed. We have the bar behind us. We'll be taking a tour of the hotel a little later and show you around. But in the meantime, George, tell me, Mercan Group is known for immigration. You have a 30 years plus track record in business of immigration, but you are popularly known to be in this business in North America, Canada, and USA. What brought you to Portugal?
So, thank you, Paresh. So, as you said, we have been in this activity for 33 years. So, we were very active in Canada, we were very active in the US, and actually, it's in the US, the business model that we had in the US with EB5, with investors investing $500,000 and then getting the green card and then buying them back. So this success brought us to Portugal. We were looking in 2015 for the best European program. Okay. And we realized Portugal was the best European program because it was the fastest access and easier access to citizenship. Only 5 years after getting the Golden Visa card, you have access to citizenship and only staying 7 days per year in the country. When we came in 2015, we were the first ones to do 3 things. We were the first ones to invest into the real estate rehabilitation category. So this is an example. We bought this property, we turned it into a hotel, so we're the first ones to have investors under the category of 350,000 euros for Porto and Lisbon and 280,000 euros for outside Porto and Lisbon. We're also the first ones to do that on a co-ownership basis, meaning every investor owns a percentage of the property. And finally, we're the first ones to introduce the buyback concept, which means that when you get the citizenship or the permanent residency, we will buy you back for the same price. So fast forward, today we have 19 projects. We are the largest hospitality developer in Portugal, and we are also the largest developer for Golden Visa investors. Today, 1 out of 2 Golden Visa applicants, they invest into our properties.
Okay, so you have almost 50% market share.
That's correct.
Of the rehabilitation project.
Especially because, as Paresh, as you know, the law changed in January 1st, 2022.
Yes.
So no more residential is allowed for Golden Visa purposes in Porto or in Lisbon.
Right.
However, in Porto and in Lisbon, commercial real estate investments such as hotels are allowed, which is exactly what we are offering. Investments in hotels in Porto, in Lisbon, and in other areas of Portugal.
All right. So you mentioned you have 19 projects right over here. How many of these projects are already ready? I can see this one. Of course, this is your first hotel and it's beautifully done up. How many projects are ready?
So the first one is the one we're sitting on, which is 5-star. Now it will become an intercontinental vignette hotel. We also have a Hilton.
Sorry about that. Jordi, what is the price per night in this hotel? I can see that it is a very premium hotel in a prime location. How much?
At this time of the year, it's around 300 euros.
300 euros
Yes.
per night. That's
Yes.
quite pricey.
Yes, yes.
So why is it so expensive this location?
So this location is probably, as I said, it's a prime location. It's a 5-star. The building itself used to be owned by the king, and this property is where the king would administer the port wine. So it's a real landmark, and that's why it's a destination in itself.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
So that's this property. We have another Hilton property right across the street
Right.
that we opened this year. We also have a 4 Points by Sheraton on the beach here in Porto. We also have a Wyndham Fontinha Hotel, which is on the shopping street in Porto. And finally, the 5th property, which is already operating, is in the Douro region.
Okay.
In the coming months, we're opening the largest convention center hotel in Porto, which is going to be the Marriott Renaissance Lapa. We're also opening the first Hilton Garden Inn in Évora, and we'll be opening here in Porto the Hotel Porto Arts Hotel.
I think some of our investors have invested in Lapa as well as in Holiday Inn Évora, so they will be delighted to see their hotels opening up. Right. So, Jordi, now how many total number of investors you have so far?
Yeah, the total amount of investors is over 2,000.
2,000.
Over 2,000 investors.
That's huge. I think we did a webinar about a year back last year where the number was 1,000. So you've been able to add 1,000 more over the last 1 year.
Yes, what's very important is, Paresh, and as you mentioned at the beginning, what has been very successful is the trust of investors on the track record. Because, yes, during COVID, we did not have any properties open.
Right.
After COVID, we were able, some of the properties have already been finished, but the key success factor has been to have 5 properties operating where investors not only can see the result of their investment, but also they can enjoy and come here and experience the Mercan hospitality.
Wonderful. So, Jordi, can you tell us about your operations and presence over here in Portugal, particularly in Lisbon, and what are your Porto, and what are your plans going ahead?
Yes, in Portugal today we have 3 pillars. So we have the development side, which is Mercan Properties, and in Mercan Properties we have the construction and development, we have the operations, we have the investor relations also, and then we have another pillar, which is the service provider, and as an independent company. So there we have all the legal services for the Golden Visa processing, as well as the hosting. So when an investor comes here, it's well taken care from A to Z. And finally, the third pillar is the hotel management company. So these properties are managed by a company called AHM, and altogether, between the office in Porto and the office in Lisbon, we have over 100 people working there. In the 5 hotels that we have today, we have about 170 people, and by the end of the year, with the 3 additional hotels, we will double the number of people that will be working under the Mercan.
So I'm happy to see you have a very ambitious plan. You are very confident about the way things are progressing in Portugal. What is your outlook? We have some clients who have some doubts. We have been hearing about some uncertainty with regard to the Golden Visa program. But I can see that you are committed to Portugal. So what is your view on the future of this Golden Visa program?
Yes, Of course, when we are in the investment or immigration by investment program, we are always different factors of concern. However, we have been fortunate to be close to the Portuguese government to understand their thinking about the program.
Okay.
And especially after the changes that occurred on January 1st, 2022, it was reconfirmed that the commitment of the Portuguese government on a program like it is now, which is very much geared towards economic development and job creation. So we are convinced that the program is here to stay for a long time because of the economic benefits that the program is bringing to the country.
Wonderful. Yeah, I can see that. I've been moving around the country. I've been traveling right from Algarve in the south to Porto here in the north. I've been seeing the kind of development which is taking place and the economic progress, the tourism, the way the tourists are flooding in. There is a huge demand for tourist accommodation, be it hotels, apartment hotels, Airbnb, everything seems to be full. I had difficulty in booking accommodation over here. So, there are a lot of tourists even at this time of year, and I think that will continue. Now, having said that, recently, there was an announcement just a few days back that your biggest, Portugal's biggest competitor on the Golden Visa side, Greece, has increased the investment amount. So can you tell us something about that and what impact will it have on the Portugal?
Yes, Paresh, of course, we are always very vigilant about what's happening because also the governments are very vigilant about how to adapt the program to the benefits of the country. So yes, the impact will be very important. We think that there will be a lot of investors that they will be looking to Portugal in the short term. Of course, the government basically, when they look at their annual fiscal budget, those are the kind of things that they'll be looking at. So whether at the end of 2023 or mid-2023 there will be an increase on the amount of investment, that's something that we cannot predict, but we should not rule out either.
Right. So you think that, taking a clue from what Greece has done, there is a possibility that Portugal may also increase the investment amount, maybe in 1 year down the road or so?
Yeah, that's not unforeseeable. So like any European program, whoever gets under the current terms and conditions, they will keep, so they'll be grandfathered. So that's why it's very important for investors that are considering an investment to do it now.
Right. All right. Wonderful. So, any other tips or advice to the investors? There is one concern that we have been getting from the investors regarding the language test. Many investors get little, taken aback when we tell them that you have to pass the Portuguese language test in order to get the citizenship. So can you tell us about what has been the experience of your investors? How many of them have successfully been able to clear the test? And what are you doing to help them with this?
Paresh, thank you for this question, because that's the kind of topic that some people are afraid of.
Right.
But we can say that we have a 100% success rate of investors that have passed the test, the Portuguese test. How do we do that? Right. So we have an in-house platform for investors to learn how to pass the test. And we have a combination, a hybrid of an electronic platform with real teaching to the investors. We always advise to start this process earlier, like on year 2 or year 3, because it's important to book the test in advance. So since the test does not expire, so the result of the test does not expire, which means that even if you pass your test on year 2 or year 3, it's valid forever. So then you don't need to worry. By the time you get to year 5, you have your Golden Visa with 5 years, you have your test passed, you're ready to apply for citizenship.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how are you helping the investors? I believe you have some teaching platform which you are providing to the investors?
Yes, we have a teaching platform that investors can sign up for a very reduced fee, and investors and the family, it's normally different modules on how to pass the test. So it's a very successful, and happy to have any investor testing the system so they can enjoy and they can see by themselves that it's not that difficult.
All right, Jordi, thank you very much for those valuable inputs. Now, friends, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be taking a tour of these hotels today, and I will also be visiting the other Mercan Properties over here in Porto tomorrow. Jordi has been kind enough to arrange for the same. So look out for those videos in the days to come. Thank you. So we are here in the atrium over here. You can see it's a vast open area. This is the main entrance to the hotel. Jordi, can you tell us something about the hotel? What is the name of the hotel?
Yes, the hotel is Casa da Compañía, and the reason for that is because that's the original name that the king had on the 1700s when the original building was built. And also the winery that after the king's was administering the port wine, the winery that was set up here in the 1800s is called Real Compañía Vella, and it's the oldest winery in the Douro region. That's why some of the decoration that this hotel has is related to that winery. And today we have more and more people that are coming here to see the history of this hotel, which is a unique history not only here in Porto, but in Portugal, because there are not that many buildings that they are kept the way this is, that used to belong to the king back in the 1700s.
All right. So how many rooms do you have here in total?
So here we have 40 rooms. And we also have a meeting room, so it can also be used as a business meeting room, which means that we have a combination of leisure clients and sometimes also business clients that they come here to have their business meetings.
Right.
We just opened the restaurant because the chef, it's a very well-known chef, so the restaurant itself, it's
Can we see the restaurant? Can you take us? Yes.
That's the restaurant hall.
Okay.
Which is decorated with some of the original bottles from the 1800s.
Oh, lovely. So these are all the bottles from the 1800s. This is a nice vintage collection. You can see that there are books and there are bottles. These are the old wine bottles. And in this backdrop, you have this table, breakfast table over here. Very nice setup. So you said that the average room rent currently is about 300.
Yes, right? Because now it's the high season, so that's why the room rate, and it's considered one of the top hotels in Porto.
Right. And what would be the occupancy currently over here?
Today we are 100% occupancy. During the month of July, August and September, that's the occupancy we are having. And we expect to also reach a very good occupancy during the autumn and winter seasons. Portugal and Porto in particular has become a destination not only for Europeans but also for Americans. And we expect also the Asians, people from India, to come over starting soon. The flights, the intercontinental flights to Porto, they just started again after the COVID pandemic. So yeah, we expect the outlook for the tourist industry here in Porto is very promising.
Yep, I can see that there are a lot of tourists over here.
Yeah.
It's city is full of tourists. Wonderful. And this hotel, you said, is going to be, you are adding an international flag also over here, right?
Yes, international flag by Intercontinental. It's going to be the first vignette Intercontinental in Portugal, and this will be flagged as of the beginning of October.
All right. Okay, unfortunately, all the rooms are occupied today, so we cannot show you any rooms, but I think you have had a good tour of the hotel. Thank you very much, Jordi.
Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Bye.